Welcome back, I'm prepared to bedazzled, because today I'm going to be shedding light on the number one reason appertaining to why the land of Draconian slavery and Draconian oppression is a terrible place to live. So what is this attributable to, you may ask? Without further ado, without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Lamentably, much my dismay, much my consternation, much my chagrin, much my grief, much my agony, much my agitation, much my irritation, early life slavery is perpetrated against people in the land of Draconian slavery and Draconian oppression. The practice of slavery in any form is inhumane, immoral, reprehensible, and unmitigated. Even though all forms of slavery should be abolished, modern slavery is inapt to ever be abolished. The mandate to attend the 13-year K-12 compulsory concentration camp that is imposed against people against their own volition is ineffably inhumane, is the utmost pernicious form of modern slavery, and should be abolished. People should have purview over how their precious time is earmarked, and the right to liberty should never be encroached on. In a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp, a person's inalienable right to liberty is severely encroached on in OFASS. In this control market economy, people are sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory indoctrination camp against their own volition, which some people refer to as a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory prison, while other people refer to it as a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp due to it being an insalubrious environment that individuals are relegated to from a young age against their own accord. Being sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp against their own accord in this control market economy not only dispossesses a person of at least 37,440 hours of his precious and valuable, finite, indispensable, sacrosanct time, but also induces stunted growth, chronic burnout, chronic sleep deprivation, chronic fatigue, chronic stress, depression, anxiety, misery, agony, distress, telomere shortening, accelerated cellular aging, and poor health. Moreover, being sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp against his own accord in this control market economy not only dispossesses a person of at least 37,440 hours of his precious and valuable, finite, indispensable, sacrosanct time, but also sets up a person to be poised for a life fraught with hardships, insurmountable debt, chronic poverty, penury, compromised health, chronic burnout, chronic fatigue, chronic stress, a severely reduced quality of life, an increased mortality rate, and ineffable despair. In other words, succinctly stated, being sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp against their own accord in this control market economy is a primary reason appertaining to why most people have been set up for career failure as children. Lamentably, a person will not receive any universal basic guaranteed income, pension, benefits, grants, stipend, allowance, remuneration, investment securities, brands, knowledge, nor anything of value for having been dispossessed of 37,440 hours of his precious, finite, indispensable, sacrosanct time during the course of a brutal 13-year sentence at a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp in this control market economy in which he partook in boondoggle activities against his own accord by completing classroom assignments, by completing homework assignments, and by being transported to and from the 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp every weekday for at least 2,340 days over at least 4,680 needless trips. Being sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp renders a person poised for career failure, especially since it dispossesses a person out of his precious and valuable, finite, indispensable, sacrosanct time needed to establish and build up multiple recurring revenue streams amid his early life years. By being dispossessed of 37,440 hours of their precious and valuable, finite, indispensable, sacrosanct time during a brutal 13-year sentence at a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp, they not only forgo the opportunity to have sufficient time to obtain quality deep sleep, eat salubrious foods, partake in moderate intensity exercises, and work towards reaching worthwhile higher aspirations and worthwhile overarching goals amid their early life years, but also forgo the opportunity to be able to produce income-generating assets amid their early life years our recurring revenue streams are comprised of. So to recapitulate, being sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious K through 12 compulsory concentration camp under duress against one's own volition is not only deemed to be a 13-year career setback, but also causes a person to forgo being pursuant of worthwhile higher aspirations, worthwhile overarching goals, worthwhile career aspirations, and health optimization measures for 13 years. Furthermore, it also causes a person to forgo being pursuant of learning activities for 13 years. There is no recompense that is furnished to people for them completing a sentence at the K through 12 insalubrious 13-year compulsory concentration camp. Parents should be diligent parents 100% of the time. They should be willing to homeschool their children 100% of the time so that their children can circumvent succumbing to early life slavery. Early life slavery is the utmost deleterious form of modern slavery. Slavery is a flagrantly deplorable injustice. It should never exist under any circumstance. There's no vindication behind the existence of slavery. There's no justification behind the existence of slavery. There is no cause behind the existence of slavery. As I stated earlier, all forms of slavery should be abolished. The practice of slavery in any form is not only ineffably repugnant, but is also ineffably inhumane, immoral, reprehensible, and unvindicated. So in order to have a modicum of a chance to attain financial stability and financial security, you need to be able to establish and build up sizable recurring revenue streams on autopilot by working in worthwhile entrepreneurial capacities. A person is barred from being able to be pursuant of worthwhile entrepreneurial pursuits full-time if he is sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious K through 12 compulsory concentration camp. It is all the more cumbersome to attain financial stability and financial security if a person is sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious compulsory concentration camp under duress against his own volition. A person may be eminently recalcitrant about completing classroom assignments and homework assignments for the K through 12 13-year insalubrious compulsory concentration camp. However, if he refuses to complete homework assignments and classroom assignments for the K through 12 insalubrious 13-year compulsory concentration camp, then he may be held back, which can prolong his sentence at the 13-year insalubrious K through 12 compulsory concentration camp. So, as I stated earlier, people should have purview over how their finite, precious, indispensable, sacrosanct time is earmarked. They should be at liberty to choose how their time is allocated. They should have the autonomy to choose how they want to earmark their time throughout the entirety of their lives. Slavery should never exist. All forms of slavery should be abolished. Modern slavery is inapt to ever be abolished in the 21st century, the 22nd century, and the 23rd century. Do you extrapolate that it will eventually be abolished after the 23rd century elapses, or do you think that it will persist past the 23rd century? Who shall knows? The future is enigmatic and obscured beyond a number of time. All forms of slavery are ineffably grievous, and all forms of slavery should be abolished. Once again, I hope that you deem this video to be riveting, captivating, mesmerizing, insightful, intriguing, engrossing, enthralling, and amusing. I hope that you're entrenched in the unalloyed epicness. Thanks for watching. Have a blissful day.